my dad had a big hand in helping design that building and those studio rooms.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so as a child, that was like they would use me. I would crawl in the floor to pull wire, or the raised floor. And
where's little Bobby at?
Yeah, so I was so little I could do that sort of stuff, But that's so during the 70s, John Fry kind of took a hiatus for a little bit, and so Dad started managing the place. And there's Terry Manning and William Brown and Jim Dickinson and Sid Selvage and all these guys were constantly in my sphere growing up, and so I get to go down there and hang out and meet all these people. ZZ Top recorded there. A lot of their albums were recorded there. Black Oak, Arkansas.
You mentioned the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones was more of an outside thing, not so much with Ardent, but that came through because of Jim Dickinson and his relationship with the Rolling Stones. And so, he would pull my dad into things like that. And because they grew up, went to high school together at White Station High School, played in a band together, and called Jim Dickinson and the Regents. And so they opened up for people like Bo Diddley and stuff at the National Guard Armory. And there's a story. It's in Jim's book. And I used to hear my dad tell this story all the time, and I always wondered if it was true. And then I saw when after Jim's book had come out, it was in Jim's book, and they talk about they're opening up. And back then, when you were an opening act, what you actually did was you played during the breaks. So the other band would come on when the main act was taking a break. And so he said that the other guitar player, and I forget the guy's name, was getting upset, because Bo Diddley hadn't showed up yet. So Bo Diddley finally rolls up, and they roll up in this big station wagon. It's got Bo Diddley on the side of it, and they're hauling out these big amps and all this stuff. And they set up, and so supposedly he was only supposed to take one break. Well, then all of a sudden it's two breaks, and so this other guitar player with my dad and Jim started getting upset about it. And he goes, what's this about two breaks? And so they're all standing kind of in a circle. This is the way I understand it. And Bo Diddley's standing right there. And my dad says Bo Diddley all of a sudden looked at all three of them and was like, you could have been Bo Diddley. And you could have been Bo Diddley. But I's Bo Diddley, and I's taking two breaks.
And that's that, everybody.
And that was that. Done. Two breaks. And so that some of the funny stuff that, I remember hearing from my dad and I always wondered. And then the other one was after my dad had passed away, the guy, Robert Gordon, had recorded an interview with my dad. It was about 2 hours long for a book called It Came from Memphis. And he came up to me at the wake and he said, "Hey, Bobby, I've got this audio recording of your dad. I'll digitize it and send it to you." And I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
It took me about a year before I could actually sit down and listen to it, And so one night, everybody had gone to bed. I was sitting in front of my computer, put my headphones on, started listening to it. Got about 15 minutes into it, and Robert says to my dad, "So Rick, tell me about Johnny Cash." And I'm kind of perked up because I'd never heard my dad talk about Johnny Cash.
Oh, cool.
Ever. And so I'm like, "What's this about?" And my dad says, "Well, when I was a teenager, I used to ride my bike to Berkeley and play guitar with Johnny Cash on his front porch." And I'm like, "What?"
Come on, Dad.